Hi, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon everyone. Okay, for today we're going to continue from our last lesson. So, from previous video recording, you have been introduced on how to create your own functions, what are the basic syntax, and then why do we need to create our own functions. Okay, so today we're going to look on three more subtopics, which is the anonymous functions, and also subfunctions. So, anonymous function, what is an anonymous function? It is actually a function that is not stored in a program file but is associated with a variable whose data type is function handle. Okay, so as you know previously that all functions should be written in an M file or editor file, but with anonymous function you can define it either inside a script file, which is the editor or M file, or the command window. Okay, so you boleh define dia sama ada dalam M file ataupun command window, tapi the normal user defined functions you tak boleh define dalam command window. Okay, so this anonymous function, it can accept multiple inputs and return one output, and can also contain only one single statement. Okay, so imagine that you have one long lines of programming code for your programs. Okay, but you only want to use just one or two lines from that program project into a new project, so you don't have to recreate any other function files, but instead you boleh guna this anonymous function and then create that function by following this syntax. Okay, to create anonymous function, okay, dia sama je macam masa you nak create atau masa you nak define function files, except you have to include this alias symbol, okay, to let MATLAB know that you are creating a function. So the basic syntax is function name equal sign, ni adalah assignment statement. Right after this equal sign, you letak alias symbol here, and then you buka bracket. Okay, dalam bracket tu kita akan letak variable name kita, and then tutup the bracket, and then followed by the MATLAB expression. Okay, MATLAB expression ni maksudnya the MATLAB commands yang you nak guna. Okay, so example of an anonymous function. Suppose you nak define a function for natural log called lon. Okay, so lon ni is actually a MATLAB built-in function. Okay, but we can define it as an anonymous function. Caranya, so ln ni is the function name, and then assignment statement, then alias symbol ni untuk alert MATLAB ni function yang kita nak buat ni lon function. Okay, yang merah ni bracket x ni is the variable name. Okay, so dia boleh it requires for this case satu input variable, and then this log x here is the MATLAB expression. Okay, so dah siap lah you define function. Okay, next is kita nak try execute on MATLAB. Okay, so first kita start with the function definition. Okay, tapi notice kita hanya akan define dia on command window. Okay, so let me show you this example. Okay, first sebelum saya terlupa, saya akan define our current folder. Okay, so here this is how we define an anonymous function. Okay, so bila you check dekat workspace, you nampak ada nama ln ni. Okay, ln ni, okay, bila you move over your mouse, you nampak tak dia tulis function handle. So dia save function name ln ni, lon ni, as a function handle in workspace folder. So selagi okay, this function handle is available in workspace, okay, you boleh guna and you boleh execute the function. For example, kita nak cari the natural log for 10. Okay, but what happen if it's no longer there? The lon function handle is no longer in the workspace. Okay, you cannot execute that function anymore. Okay, you akan dapat this kind of error, which is undefined function of variable lon, because dia tak ada dekat sini. Okay, so the function anonymous function ni only works as long as the function handle is available in the workspace. Okay, so once the workspace is clear, anonymous function pun dah tak boleh function lagi. Okay, so to do that, you kena save that anonymous function. Sebab anonymous function ni dia punya behavior tu just like any variable. So you boleh, bila you save, you boleh save dia as mat file, and then you boleh load that command, you boleh guna command load untuk load that anonymous function, and then you boleh execute semula lah without having to redefine again and again. Okay, so kita akan save this lon function, okay, by typing this command. Okay, so bila you type, okay, you notice dekat you punya current folder ni, there's a file name my underscore function mat.mat. Okay, so with this, let's say saya clear semula saya punya workspace window, and then bila saya clear, so saya clear all lah. Okay, so macam mana saya nak load semula lon function tu? Okay, saya just type load function name. Dia akan function handle tu akan appear semula on workspace, and then I can execute again the lon function. Okay, alternatively, okay, you juga boleh just double click from the current folder. Okay, so sekarang it has been loading, and then you boleh guna that lon function as well. Okay, with anonymous function, it is also possible to assign a function handle to any mfile function. So if you still remember earlier in our chapter, in this chapter 3, we have created an mfile function called distance. So I have the distance file here, so I'm just going to assign this handle. Okay, yang ni dia represented by this box icon here. So I'm going to assign this distance handle to the distance function. Okay, caranya adalah, this is the handle, say assignment statement, this is the input variable, and then this is the function name. Okay, so now I can directly use this distance handle from command window. So I boleh type, so distance for let's say 20. Okay, so I dapat the answer. So G dengan answer ni apa? Kalau you nak tahu, you kena buka semula lah distance function tu apa. Okay, this one, answer ni is the results. Okay, okay, that's the first part. Now let's move on to the okay, so with function handles, it will make using functions easier. Okay, so what are functions? So functions, also the name is sounds kind of odd, but the name is actually descriptive. Okay, um, there are many situations where a function, okay, in this case function A works on another function, in this case function B. This means that when function A is executed, it has to be given function B as input. So function is actually functions that require other functions as input. One example of a MATLAB built-in function is the function plot. Okay, function plot. Okay, fplot, or the knock-in and knock-out functions described previously in this chapter. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate with function plot. So with function plot, okay, it requires two variable for the inputs. Okay, the first one could be either the function atau function handles, and the second input is the range over which yang kita nak plot tu. Okay, so bila kita type this, okay, ni kita boleh type this sin x because sin is a built-in function kan. Okay, kita akan plot dia daripada 0 sampai 10. So kita dapatlah this kind of plot. Alternatively, kita juga boleh guna this kind of syntax. Okay, so kedua-dua syntax ni juga akan menghasilkan figure yang sama. Okay, tapi saya nak tunjuk demonstration using the lon function. Okay, sebab tadi kita dah create anonymous function for lon kan. Okay, so now kita akan guna fplot to create this figure. Okay, so you kena tahu yang for fplot ni, dia accept function handle ataupun function itself for the first input field here. Okay, so let's look at our MATLAB. Okay, let's clear this all. Okay, let's say saya load function ni. Okay, sebab saya nak guna function ni kan. Okay, lepas tu saya akan guna fplot. So yang ni adalah saya punya function handle Ni function handle, gambar kotak ni function handle lon, and then this is the range from 0.1 until 10. Okay, busy sikit. Okay, lepas tu appear di figure. Okay, so alternatively, okay, let's say saya clear workspace ni, so saya punya function handle no longer here, and saya nak guna the second method, which is to define the function itself. Okay, log x, and then this is the range. Okay, sorry, that should be, the function should be inside a string. Okay, here, tengok, saya akan dapat the same figure as before. Now, maybe you tak nampak sangat lah dia punya the obvious reason lah sebab apa kita nak guna functions kan. Okay, sebab dia punya function yang kita guna ni pun like very easy. Okay, so let's clear our workspace and command window. So I'm going to try to do this polynomial, the fifth order polynomial. Okay, so sebab polynomial ni reason dia panjang sikit kan dia punya equation. Okay, and then fplot, saya boleh type dia without string if it is actually defined as function handle. So poly 5, this is the range from -30 until 90. Okay, and then kalau you nak guna yang without you define as function handle, oh boleh je, tak ada masalah. Cuma dia akan jadi panjang lah, because you kena copy this whole equation. Okay, let's clear our workspace. Okay, so now f plot. Okay, so nampak tak? Kita still dapat the same result. Okay, so cara dia adalah either you define the function itself atau you could define the function handle and then call that function handle. Okay, so there's a wide variety of MATLAB functions that accept function handles as input. Okay, this is another example that accept function handle as inputs. This one is F0. Okay, so saya nak define yang ni. You boleh scroll for your previous command by typing, you tekan up arrow. Okay, so saya nak guna function handle ni as input inside the F0 function. So F0 function ni untuk kita cari the value of x where fx is equal to 0. Okay, so dia akan accept function handle as input. Okay, so sekarang x ni kita guess lah to be 75. Okay, so this is the value of fy when x is equal to 0. Okay, so yang 75 ni is the guess value of y yang saya dapat daripada this one. Okay, yang ni x kan, yang ni value fy. Kita nak cari bila x ni kosong, berapa value fy dia. Okay, so x akan kosong in between ni lah, 60 to 80 ni. Okay, ni kosong ni. Kat mana dia mesh? Okay, dia actually dekat ni. Yang ni lah. Okay. So kita guna function F0. So you can see lagi senang kalau kita untuk polynomial 5 ni, bila kita guna function handle instead of kita retype all the expression untuk poly 5 ni. Okay, and lastly, this is subfunctions. Okay, so a subfunction is a file that can contain more than one user-defined function. So dia adalah satu file function yang ada beberapa, lebih daripada satu lah, one user-defined function. So a more complicated functions can be created by grouping functions together into a single file as subfunctions. Okay, caranya all these functions akan di-type one after another. Each function begins with a function definition line. The first function is called the primary function. Okay, yang ni kena ingat first function kita panggil dia primary function, and the rest of the functions are called subfunction. Nama bagi function file should correspond to the primary function. Jadi apa nama yang you bagi untuk primary function tu, you should also use that to name your function file. You jangan tukar. Okay, biasanya by default MATLAB akan save the primary function tu as the function file name. Okay, so each of the functions in the file, you can call any other function in the file. So semua function dalam file tu boleh panggil, you boleh guna any other function yang berada dalam satu file yang sama. Okay, so example here kita ada this subfunction demo. Okay, so yang kotak biru ni adalah the primary function. Content dia adalah keseluruhan kotak merah ni daripada line 1 sampai 11 ni content subfunction file ni. Okay, primary function dia adalah ni, nama primary function ni subfunction underscore demo. This is subfunction 1, this is subfunction 2. So ada 3 function dalam file subfunction demo ni. Okay, primary function yang atas ni, okay, dia boleh tulis n atau tak perlu, tapi saya cadangkan semua function start with function, semua function file start with function and always end you punya function file with an end statement. Okay, so untuk yang ni kita akan try x 1 2 3 4 an array lah, ada array of x and array of y. So untuk hasil tambah, kita akan store dia dalam variable name plus. Untuk hasil tolak, kita store dia dalam variable minus. Okay, so kita dapatlah dua-dua jawapan ni. Okay, jadi dekat MATLAB, okay, saya dah type earlier. So, this is the subfunction example. Okay, yang ni you boleh expand atau you boleh close, boleh expand atau close untuk tengok dia punya content. Okay, so untuk cara execute dia, first kita bagilah, kita define variable x and then kita define variable 1. Okay, lepas tu as I say before, kita akan store dia dalam plus minus variable name ni. Okay, this is how we call subfunction demo and then xy. Okay, so kita dapatlah. Okay, plus ni tambah kedua-dua x dengan y, minus ni tolak x 4x minus y. So 1 tolak 10 nanti 9, 2 tolak 23 nanti 21, and so on. Okay, I think that's all untuk subfunctions. Okay, so I have another slide here. This is to show you, okay, masa bila yang kita boleh guna subfunction ni effectively. So we have these 3 problems here, each with different solution lah. Okay, so example, you were assigned to work on these 3 homework problems. Okay, each of these problem require you to create and test a function. Okay, so for example, in problem 1, you can create and test a function called square. Ni nama function 2. Okay, function square ni adalah square values of x. So assume x varies between -3 plus 3. Okay, and problem 2, you have to create and test a function called callwork to find the percent callwork experienced by a metallic rod as it is drawn into a wire. Callwork is described by this equation. So kita ada initial radius dengan final radius. Okay, masukkan dalam equation ni, and then kita dapatlah jawapan percentage of callwork. In problem 3, you kena create and test a function called potential energy to determine the potential energy change of a given mass. Okay, so the potential energy is given by this equation. Okay, delta PE mg delta z. Delta z ni is the distance, so distance dia 5 meter, g 9.8, m ni is an array of 1 to 3 kilogram. Okay, so in MATLAB, I have done this earlier. So, dia panjang sikit. Okay, hopefully boleh nampak lah. Okay. So, okay, saya tunjukkan satu persatu. Untuk problem 3 tadi tu, okay, kita akan solve guna sub function. Okay, selain daripada solve guna sub function, apa cara yang you boleh buat adalah you kena create 4 function file. Okay, one for each. So, yang ni 1, 2, 3. Ni one for each problem. Yang satu ni, the primary function here, ni primary function is the solution. Macam mana you solve and use that function lah untuk solve you punya problem. Okay, so the primary function ni output tak ada. Okay, and then this is function name and then input. Okay, untuk problem 1, kita masukkan value x dia, negatif 3. Ini display ni, kita hanya nak display kan on command window whatever yang saya tulis dalam string ni. String ni adalah yang purple written code here. Okay, and then y display square x, so display y. Untuk problem 2, kalau you tengok dekat sini, saya hanya tulis script je. Okay, so yang cold work, square and potential energy here ni, saya define dia dalam function. The sub functions yang saya letak dekat bawah primary function. Okay, untuk problem 1 tadi, function yang terlibat adalah ni, square x ni. Okay, so square x apa dia? Result x square kuasa 2. Okay, yang ni cold work. So, kita masukkanlah ikut equation tadi. Okay, initial tolak final kuasa 2 bahagi dengan initial kuasa 2. And then, untuk potential energy, masukkanlah equation mg delta z tu. Okay, so each function ni, okay, nampak function name dia square. Kita call, this is cara kita call our function, okay, untuk guna dalam kita punya problem atau untuk kita dapatkan solution. Okay, so nama file name, nama function ni adalah square. So kita call ni square. Yang ni call underscore work. Call underscore work dalam ni adalah dia punya input. Okay, macam tu juga dengan potential energy mg delta z here. Okay, so untuk selesaikan 3 problem tadi, kita perlu buat 4 function. Ini adalah primary function. Okay, kemudian sub function 1. Tujuan dia untuk solve problem number 1. Sub function 2 untuk untuk solve the second problem. And finally sub function 3. Okay, that's all. Okay, lepas tu kita try lah test kan macam mana kita nak execute our sub functions ni. Okay, to execute our sub function, macam mana cara dia? Hanya type atau load. Okay, type the function name at the command window. Okay, right after the command prompt ni. Okay, so lepas tu saya besarkan sikit command window ni. Okay, so we nampak lah problem 1. The square yang ni yang kita guna command display tadi, disp ni. Okay, inilah dia punya jawapan. Okay, satu lagi saya nak buat peringatan atau teguran lah. Okay, for example, saya baru saja view you punya lab module yang kedua ni. Yang pertama, okay, saya buka satu lah ya. Okay. Nampak tak? Yang ni dia punya apa ni? Okay, sekejap saya buka dia punya soalan sekali lah baru macam clear sikit kot. So, lab modul pertama. Ini dia punya lab modul kan. Ada 2 soalan je, tak banyak pun kan. Lepas tu, saya cakap copy your answer and MATLAB commands from the command window and paste into a Word document. Okay, so saya nak tahu you punya, selain daripada jawapan, saya juga nak dapatkan, saya nak tengok apakah MATLAB command yang you gunakan untuk dapatkan jawapan itu. Okay, jadi yang pertama tadi siapa ni? Yang ni student ni, dia hanya bagi maybe ni jawapan daripada command window Okay, ni pun maybe jawapan daripada command window. So you hanya ada jawapan sajalah, you tak ada apa tu, command dia. Okay, so saya mengharapkan, saya sebenarnya expect jawapan. Kita tak nak tengok tahu you tiba-tiba je appear jawapan, tak. Kita nak tahu macam mana you dapatkan jawapan tu. Sebab kalau nak tahu jawapan, memang semua orang boleh copy kan. Okay, just nak tahu you betul-betul faham and tahulah macam mana nak execute that MATLAB command. Okay, for example, siapa ya? Saya try buka yang lain. Yang ni okay. Okay, maybe dia answer guna script. Tapi dia determine the soda, determine the temperature of the soda after 3 hours. Okay, so mana jawapan you yang menunjukkan T ni berapa? Mana T ni, jawapan T ni? Command ni ada dah, betul. Okay, tapi lepas you run kan, mana jawapan T tu? Copy jawapan T tu sekali. Okay. Yang ni pun tak ada jawapan T. Okay, semua pun tak ada. Jadi sekarang ni saya nak tahulah berapa jawapan T dia. Saya tahulah kan saya boleh je copy ni dapat jawapan T. Tapi at least you keluarkanlah jawapan T dia apa. Okay, itu saja. So harapnya hopefully next time untuk lab modul, make sure bukan saja copy answer macam ni, bukan. Make sure you copy juga jawapan pula, the command, okay, yang you gunakan untuk menjawab soalan tersebut. Bagi setiap lah lab modul 1, 2, 3, 4, quiz, test semua, kena bukan jawapan je, okay. Okay, kalau you rasa susah, yang paling senang sekali adalah you boleh screenshot sahaja. Okay, ni kan saya copy dia punya ni. You boleh screenshot sahaja. Macam ni kan, T59. You boleh screenshot je lah all this one ni. Tapi nak screenshot tu pun kena ni lah, make sure nampak semua. Okay, screenshot je. Ni untuk soalan pertama, macam ni. Okay, boleh screenshot, boleh copy dekat, boleh copy paste dekat Word. Lepas tu submit lah macam biasa. Okay, that's all. Bye.